Hello everyone, welcome back to the studio for this week's episode of Tutorial Tuesday. I thought we'd do something very different, something that I haven't done on the Tutorial Tuesday, and I also just haven't painted in general this type of a scene in a really long time. So it's going to be some trial and error, and we're going to work through that all together. I'm just going to show you step by step how I process through that, and yeah, we'll have some fun. Be sure to check the description below for the paint list. I have a couple extra special paints combinations that I'm using today that I really like to use for these scenes. And let's jump right up to the canvas here. Today we're going to do an underwater scene kind of from a little cave looking out. I'm using Indian yellow and titanium white. I'm just going to pick out where I want the lightest area and kind of pop that in. Let's go into some phthalo green and titanium white. And I still want a little bit of our Indian yellow on it. And we're just going to create a little bit of feeling of water. Now there's going to be some rocks over here, so the water's probably moving across here and crashing into the rocks. So we have this water movement, which is going to really help us with shaping the scene. So we're always going to be working kind of out of this central light area in kind of like a rounded motion. And we'll try and keep a little bit of motion with the brush always. That way it will continue to have that little bit of movement as we move forward into the scene. We just want to add this back here. So anyway, we are conditioning the canvas, we're getting it ready, setting it up, creating a mood, whatever you want to call it. This is far away at the surface of the water. Now I'm mixing a little bit of titanium white with most of these colors as I'm moving down the line here. I'm going into my phthalo blue now. And the reason I want to mix the titanium white is because I let my liquid white set for a little while so that I can get the outside edges to be really nice and dark. So up in this area, I'm still adding a little bit of white to my colors just to help with them not being as strong. I don't really want like this really pure phthalo blue. We want just a little bit of a combination. I just grabbed a little bit more phthalo green into the phthalo blue just to kind of darken it now. I did not grab any more liquid white. I'm intentionally going darker now. Just mixing these two on the brush, and we're going to kind of just keep dancing in this rocking motion, working in kind of a semicircle sort of a shape here. I thought we would cleverly call this one Under the Sea. I know. I feel really proud of myself for that, but I hope somebody has a good laugh. Anyway, we're just getting these colors in, working out in incremental stages here, kind of getting these colors in. I want to dance just a touch more light over here, a little more titanium white, just a little over here maybe. I really am into these soft, kind of atmospheric type paintings. They're really enjoyable for me to blend colors and just have fun with the colors on the brush and use, we're doing yellow and blue and it's underwater and you just get to have fun playing with that green and, it's fun. So anyway, I hope you all will find some time to try out painting an underwater scene because I think we can make it pretty simple. Because, you don't have to get super crazy. You can, but you don't have to. I'm just going into my blue mixture here now, which you can read about in the description, but it's Prussian blue, phthalo blue, and midnight black. And I just really like this rich kind of blue mixture for painting ocean scenes, so I try and use it from time to time. Just trying to still get some movement out here. Maybe we'll go into a little more phthalo blue. Kind of make it a little more murky down here as the light is shining through. This is going to be kind of more the open water, and then we're going to have rocks over in this area. I know it's kind of hard to imagine. I showed you the image, but we're just kind of using that as our idea. We're flattening out these strokes. It's getting further away. We're going to soften it out a lot and cover it with some rocks later. So let's just get some of this dark working in. Get a good bit of that on the brush. Don't be afraid of it. And really go in and darken up these corners down here. Nice and dark. Very, very dark down at the bottom. And you can tell there's not a lot of liquid white down here, so I'm having to work a little harder to get it into the canvas, but that's what we want. We want it nice and dark. And if you have too much liquid white down here, it's just going to continue to lighten as we blend. So by letting it sit on the canvas for a few minutes, you can even wipe some excess off. It really will help you set up the scene to have this work in to be a lot darker down here. I want to just grab a little bit more phthalo green, just a touch, kind of losing some of that feeling, and I wanted to just throw in a little bit more, maybe kind of Caribbean feel. I don't know. Gonna have to ask my mom. My mom is a scuba diver. She loves it. My dad, and they go scuba diving all the time, and I'm sure they've seen a scene like this. Get that in there. All of this dark over here. We're gonna have a closer bit of the cave coming in this side. So we'll just kind of leave this dark down here. Just a touch up here. Just get a little bit more movement kind of happening over here. I like to give it kind of a wiggle. And you just let the brush kind of get some of those lines going on in there. Soften it just ever so slightly, and then we'll use just a touch of this to kind of close off this. There we are. Now let's pick up a blending brush. We're going to start right in the middle here, and we're just going to soften the heck out of it. Always keeping the center of the brush staying in the middle, we're just going to kind of work around in a circle, moving out, keeping our green with the green and the yellow in the yellow. You see that? Hopefully you can see that. Just blend. Moving out. Still flipping the brush by keeping the lighter areas together. I'm doing a pretty tight and a heavy hand with an X stroke here, just trying to get these colors to kind of mingle, but we still want to keep the movement in the water. All of those strokes that we put in earlier. Now, bring it back down over here. Kind of bring these two together. Still working out. We can now bring back some of those ideas of that water moving. Soften that corner just a touch. Just bring it all together. Okay, we're going to pick up a fan brush. Actually, let's blend this a little more up here. Just going to get that. Okay, now, fan brush, we're going to go into the titanium white. Just titanium white, nothing else. And we're going to go right into the center where our sunlight is, and we're going to start dappling out some areas of light. Okay, wipe it off. Make sure you wipe it off pretty good and get some more titanium white. Nice and crisp, very thick paint. Very thick paint. And we'll just kind of keep doing this. Wipe it off. We're picking up a lot of paint when we do this. That's why we're using such a thick titanium white. So it's kind of applying the paint, but also removing the other paint that's on there in a little bit of a sense. So anyway, back to the middle. Let's keep working just a tiny bit more on a little bit of this water, kind of just keeping it in this similar motion. Okay, we're gonna pick up a blending brush. Wipe it out because it's probably got a lot of blue in it. Okay, now we're going to, I don't know. Let's just kind of move this around. Just kind of like the waves are coming through here. And I've got I have a brand new fan brush today, so they kind of throw out a few bristles in the beginning. So you just gotta work through that and make sure you remove them. Okay, now I'm gonna pick up, oh shoot, let's think. I wanna do a little bit more kind of movement of water around in here. Maybe we'll keep that one as our lighter fan brush and go into some of our darker colors. Just go right into our dark blue and some phthalo green. And we're just gonna kind of dance in some darker areas right over and through here. And I'm just kind of keeping it on this rotation here, just like we did with the white, only a smaller little wiggle here. Kind of just put some fun and natural, kind of wild movement. It just seems to work. I'm gonna get a little more phthalo green. I don't want to kind of just vary up these colors a little because we're going to blend them. Down here we'll get a little darker. Kind of just, it gets kind of far away out here as it flattens out to the seabed that way. So we'll leave that. Pick back up our blending brush. I'm going to go through with this with some titanium white because I think it'll help with this. Let's just come in and add some sparkle on some of these. This is just really thick titanium white. Let's see what happens. Right up here, we're gonna just wiggle this. Just like that rocking motion we were using. Down here, let's just really soften this together. Kind of bring these flat. Soften that. Nice and soft. I'm gonna pick up a clean sable brush, kind of a bigger one that I have here, and just work in some movement up in this. Just doing a nice rocking motion. Going to move in and out through these dark and light areas to try and just really allow them to mingle together naturally with this rocking motion. We'll just soften these out. Another bristle. All right, now big blending brush, wipe it out. Let's just soften a little bit more of this. And now we're going to use the 1-inch brush from earlier and add even more dark down here. Get some midnight black. Do the same thing on the other side a little bit here, just working in some dark. All right, up in the top here, we'll pick up our script liner, go into a little bit of liquid white and some of our sunshine color here. And we're just going to kind of dabble in a few ideas up here. Just a couple more here. Working out, let's go into a little bit of our blue mixture and we'll just pop in a few. Just a touch. Let's put that down for now and we'll leave those. We can always come back and add more. We just want to give a little bit of an idea of some sparkle happening up here. And now let's pick up one of our nice little sable brushes. I'm going to go right into the titanium white and get a mixture of our blue mix. Let's grab just a touch of alizarin crimson. Maybe a little midnight black. Touch of the blue, green, phthalo green. All of our darks plus crimson. And we're going to see if we can shape out a little bit of our little rocks out here. We have some kind of like seaweed looking things playing around over here. Darker. A little bit of white. Let's do a little more. And then we're gonna have kind of like some rocks. So we're gonna have it come down this way. And just kind of like out into the distance out here. Maybe there'll be some more little shrubs out here. Little seaweeds and we'll just go ahead and fill this in here with our dark. Keep going just a little further here. We're gonna go right to kind of about here-ish. And then we'll soften it out, and then we can do another little layer on top. I think the funnest part about underwater scenes is you can really get creative. Because a lot of it is, I mean, you're not really going to see a whole bunch under here. So you can really have fun and just, you know, I mean, I spent a lot of time at the beach, and I like underwater scenes, and I like looking at them, and I know what might be there, kind of, but not all the time. So, you know, you don't have to get like super serious, but it's fun. So give it a try. We're just popping on a few bits of titanium white onto this just to soften out some areas and kind of pick out a little bit of a shape. Let's get this, we'll have this other bit kind of over the top here, and maybe there's like another little we'll do something like this. Just kind of wiggling this brush up into these paints, allowing them to kind of mingle and move. A little bit of pops of color over here. We want to just give ourselves a little bit of an idea of what this might look like out here. Just have the Little Mermaid song stuck in my head. Oh my goodness. Maybe we'll paint a little red crab in here. Let's grab some phthalo green and some of our greens over here. I just want to pop in some of these kind of undercolors where there's going to be some pops of color. Kind of like a green. Kind of mossy looking, but it's just whatever's growing under here on these rocks. Go right into that Indian yellow. Titanium white. Let's just keep playing with these colors and wiggling out some rock features out here with our little greens and light colors and some dark colors. I think we'll put a little bit more dark. Let's grab some midnight black and just a touch of our brown mixture. Just a touch more of this dark. Midnight black, dark sienna. Let's grab just a touch of this down here. Maybe a little more dark in here. Clean up some of these. Now, wipe that off. I'm going to pick up some titanium white, Indian yellow again. Nice bright color here. And we're going to go right where our sunshine is and pop on some of these colors here. So we're going to have a little more. It's going to kind of fade out as we get lower, going darker now. More phthalo green. Down. A little bit more here. And maybe right across this top and a little bit on the back side, just a touch here. And maybe we don't want to forget just a few areas over here, because it might have a little bit of light shining, just a touch softer. Now, wipe that off. I'm going to go into a touch of titanium white and a little bit of our liquid white over here in our yellow mixture. So we're just kind of lightening up whatever this muddy color is. And I want to trickle in a few pops of light as if it's catching on these little seaweed things up here. Make sure you've got a nice thin mixture so that it'll kind of pop on top. And just pick out a few. And see how it goes. Maybe there's some down here. Maybe it's a little liquid white, some bright red. A little bit more. Maybe there's some slightly pink ones, red ones. They're kind of more reddish, I think, than pink, but anyway. Underwater, we have all kinds of fun varieties of colors that we're going to see, and the way that the light is reflected on these different colors. It's, you know, we have just so much variety. It really depends on where you are, and I haven't actually picked, you know, like where this is. I don't even know what sharks these are. I have no idea, but maybe somebody can tell me if you know more. We're just having fun, and I want to show you a really fun and I think a straightforward way of using the wet on wet technique to get a really cool atmospheric underwater effect. I'm getting just some fun colors because, like I said, there's so many fun things underwater that we're gonna see. So we're just popping in some colors and some shapes. Maybe we'll do kind of a seaweedy, like a up here, and let's do a few more. I like that, that's fun. Kind of like a, we'll put a little line through it like it's, you know, seaweed or something. Kind of just show a little bit of this current flowing over here. This way is going that way, and then we have this maybe coming out over here in this way. And get this nice and thin. little bit of our seaweed. And there's just a bunch of it out there, all hanging, floating. Let's get some Indian or yellow ochre in there. There we go. Let's work with that for now. Getting some fun colors. And before we move on, I want to put in our little seaweed line. Just get anything into the brush that's kind of a darkish, very thin, very small amount of paint just into the brush, but it's a very small amount. Twirl it out, and then we'll just come up here and dance through a little bit. Maybe we'll pop on some little lines. For the seaweed, they're kind of just like long, skinny pieces. But they're going to be like little long seagrass kind of. So there'll be a central kind of line holding them and some little stems sort of coming off of them, and whatever sea term you might want to use there. Probably would help if I had a little more bits on these like that. We'll get this one over here. Kind of keeping everything working with that direction. That was fun. I kind of want to do another little fun thing, like some fun coral. So let's do that. These might be like seaweedy type things. There might be some coral in there. Who knows? But we're going to go right into our dark reds. Red, dark. A little bit of dark sienna. Dark. With this dark red mixture, I'm going to come up into this area, and I'm just going to kind of wiggle in some red type coral. Maybe there's a good bit of it over here. And we're just kind of throwing in some ideas of like the background areas of it. Really let it fill in. And let's clean off the brush a little bit, go into the liquid white, bright red, a little bit of Indian yellow, bright red, dark sienna. Let's see if we can pick out some areas that are going to be in front, on top here, getting some light. Let's pick up script liner and go into the same color, a little bit more bright red and liquid white. That's nice. And we're just going to pick out a few of these and kind of throw on a little bit of pizzazz. Maybe to tap into this at the base. Kind of in like a little bit of a semicircle here. Let's wipe that out a little bit. Soften it. Light touch here. Now we need to come in and kind of add this like atmosphere or water on top of it. So we're just going to wiggle very lightly. Ooh. Barely touching it. I'm barely touching it. Okay, let's give that a little bit tap. Just try that again. Okay, nice. Now, I want to put in a few little bubbles out here. Let's go into, let's try a small little sable brush and let's go into our blue. Need it a little darker. Just kind of do like a half circle with a little dark, like we're doing kind of just like a little under part. Let's just try that. Script liner, liquid white, and we'll go into this blue, kind of a mixture. And we'll just kind of round these out. Now, touch more liquid white And we just touch these. I want to throw in a few little details in the foreground, kind of moving forward this way. How we had some of these little seaweed things out behind. We're going to do a few of those out in front, closer to us. Pick up a lot of the dark red, crimson, and sienna. Just kind of mix those in on the little sable brush. And maybe this one is coming off of some rocks over here and it's just going this way. Let's do a little bit of phthalo green into that mixture. Crimson brown. A little bit more of that. And now I said we were going to throw it kind of out in front. Maybe down to here we'll have it go. A little bit more red now. I'm just kind of using a little bit of a half moon, something you might use in like a floral scene, doing some leaves or something. Let's see if I can zoom in on it a little bit, if I remember to here. But I'm just going to be directing, I'm imagining this moving with the motion of this water here that we've put in behind. And I'm going to pick up a little bit of titanium white and just a touch of blue, just a touch. And anyway, so we have this kind of, imagine it just kind of flowing. And so we're just going to bring some of these back toward the middle. Maybe some are going to come over the top. Maybe some will be out wide. But we're just bringing some of these petals looking, they're going to be our seaweed. Let's grab a little bit of Indian yellow, titanium white. Same mixture, we just want to change the flavor a little bit. And some of these are attached here, some of these are coming off of some walls out here. So over here we're going to have them kind of facing into the opposite direction. Let's grab a little bit of yellow ochre, and dark sienna. Just a few little shiners out here. Touch more. I grabbed a little bit of Indian yellow just to pop on a couple of these. Just where our light is popping through, maybe these will have a little bit of pop to them. Maybe just a touch more. Now we'll pick up the script liner, go into the brush wash and get some of our thinned out. Okay, let's try again with the script liner, some dark. We want some dark. Let's go into our blues and then our brown mixture. And we got just a little bit of a gray kind of tone in there. That'll work. And we'll just kind of throw in a few of these. Touch more. And I know these might be really challenging to see on the video, but these are really small little details that will just add to the overall piece. And I definitely would say to try and incorporate these. That's the one cool thing I feel about painting and different styles of art is we get this chance to kind of capture moments that you might not be able to get the same kind of photo quality of, and maybe put it somewhere else that we can look at it, you know? I'm just kind of grabbing some of the bottoms of these leaves or seaweed pieces and kind of pulling them back. Just with the thin paint, you can kind of grab a few of them and pull them back into the center. All right. I'm going to put in a few little ideas of some fish out here, so we'll just grab some of our dark, grab a little bit of alizarin crimson, phthalo green, and our blue. And we'll just start with a really simple one. Something like this. Really simple. Now, wipe off our brush and grab a little bit of titanium white, and we'll just grab some of these back areas with the titanium white and just give a little bit of movement. Now that we've gotten all the paint off the tip of the brush, you can just kind of soften them up a little, and you just have a cute little fishy out there. Maybe we can grab just a touch of dark. And finish off the front there. Can even grab a little bit of dark on the tip of the brush. And just give them a few little details. Nice and dark on the bottom here. Grab a little bit of this thin mixture here, and we'll just dance in a couple little ideas on the top. Of some just bits of the shiny bit of water kind of sheening on a few of these areas. Leave it at that. I don't want to put too much detail because then it'll look too unrealistic. Let's go ahead and we'll just leave that one like that. We'll put in another one, maybe a little bit less effort on these. They're a little further away. I want just like a light amount of paint, not too much. We want these to kind of be off in the background. So we'll just do a small amount of detail on them. A little bit extra dark. Let's do maybe one's kind of this way-ish. Get some titanium white, little yellow ochre. Titanium white. Just pick, you want to lighten up the color and use a nice thick mixture here so you can pull this paint across. We're just kind of giving it a little bit of highlight. A little yellow ochre works pretty well with that blue, and we'll just touch on the tops of these. A little bit of dark sienna and titanium white just right on the edge. And then we'll go get the script liner in our nice thin mixture, and we'll just touch a couple little sparklers just on these guys out here. I want to pick up a little bit of dark and just add in some little details like a little fin or something, some gills. Just some some tiny little ideas of something just to give us an idea of what might be, going on over there. Just a bit, just a teeny little bit. Okay. Let's check this out. I want to do another layer of rocks now over here. Let's put in a few, just dance in over here. Some little bubbles. Put in the underside first. Clean off the brush, liquid white. And just kind of make sure you have a small amount of paint. You really don't want a lot. I'm just using this liquid white, and this is like a right hand circle, so we're getting it on this top right side where the light is. And we're just going to try and catch all of these little dots with just a tiny little highlight. Now, clean that off one more time. Into the liquid white again. Let's find a cleaner spot up here. And we want it really light now, but still add a little bit of dark sienna just to kind of gray it. We don't want it all white. And actually, let's grab a touch of yellow ochre too. That's nice. Just wiggle that in and twirl it, and then this, we're just doing a tiny little dot. And you can even add a couple extras of these where you don't have a dark background and stuff too, just to add a little bit more just fun. You know, like right over here, we can just come in and put a couple more little dots over there. That is so fun. Okay, I'm gonna clean off the brush over here, and I'm gonna go right into our dark again. And I just want to pull down a few of these. Kind of seaweed pieces. There we go. Nothing too crazy. Let us clean off this sable brush. And I'm going to go into a touch of liquid white and a touch of our light green mixture here. And I'm going to put on a few extra touches of light in here. Maybe up here. It's a little too dark still. Maybe just a little more softness on that there. All right, I'm loving this. This is so much fun. Let's do this next layer of rocks now. I'm ready for it. I think, trying to decide, maybe I'll just use this big sable brush and go into my dark blue, pick up some midnight black, alizarin crimson phthalo green, nice and dark. And let's just pick out a little bit. We're gonna have one nice rock feature right here. And there'll be a little bit more kind of right out in here. Let's just use this to kind of build up some of this look and the texture of these rocks out here. Little crimson and phthalo green. Doing underwater scenes or just water scenes in general are such relaxing paintings, and they're also just a really good opportunity to work on being really loose and just trying to go with the flow. Just allow it to come off your brush as it wants to and just have fun with that. I really enjoy watching these underwater scenes, these paintings dry. They just kind of have like their own little, moods that they kind of go through, and you can watch it dry over the next couple weeks and just really get to enjoy all the different lightings that you have it in, and just what you get to see in different lights and angles. It's very, very, very fun. I'm having fun painting this scene. I hope you all are enjoying watching me. It would really be awesome for me to know that you guys are enjoying it by letting me know in the comments below. That would be awesome. So comment and let me know what you think about what we're doing and where you are, where you're watching it, and maybe just, how it makes you feel. I would love to know. Let's spread a little bit of joy, huh? Now we're going to use these rocks back here kind of further out in the distance. So we're going to do these a little bit first, and then we'll work into this area again. But I also want to incorporate a little bit of rocks over here. So let's just build out a little bit of an area out here. I don't want to ruin those cool little fishies, so we'll have it just skirt around the edge here. Midnight black, alizarin crimson, phthalo green. Just right down that. I'm going to do a little bit on this corner here. Just helps when I'm standing on the side over here to make sure that this edge is painted. Soften some of this paint down here. We want there to be texture, but I don't want it to be too heavy. Just kind of an even amount of paint with texture. So don't blend it out completely, but fairly simple and smooth there. And I said we were going to have it kind of be like a little bit of a cave, so we're going to put that in too. Right up here we're going to have a little bit, maybe this comes up like that, kind of leads us out, and we're like in this cave here. So let's have this kind of big rock here. Alizarin crimson and our blue mixture. Just kind of allow the brush to build some of our ledges and stuff out in this area. We want our darkest area to be on the edge so that we know what the shape of that rock looks like, and then we can come back and add our highlights. But this dark color will kind of show through on the highlights. as giving it kind of a base of texture. Now I think we're gonna have this kind of exit out for a minute there, and then potentially, let's see how we're doing on this. I'm thinking here we need something like that. And maybe let's put a few kind of not straight edges, but just some fun little shapes out there. Kind of made that look like a nose and I didn't really like that. I'm gonna back up. Let's just go for it, the big shebang. I'm gonna bring this rock all the way over like we really are in this underwater looking kind of a cave. Midnight black. Midnight black, alizarin crimson, phthalo green. And let's try this and this and that. And I trim my edges with black, but this is just to help me so that I can see, you know, this dark area over here, because right now it's white and this just helps shape it. So I'm going to just get that dark in. I'm going to use crimson and phthalo green here kind of exclusively for a while to add in some dark, some of these backs, some areas where there's going to be some shadows, and are further back into this kind of cave that we're looking in here. So we'll just get this nice and dark mixture coming in over here. This we want to be further out, so we'll leave that. Let's try picking out a few. We'll have something, highlights here and some shadows here. Maybe some dark here. And fill this in here. Man, this is going to be such a cool painting. I'm so excited to see this finished here. I'm so glad I decided to do this. And definitely a challenging scene because it's something that I haven't done in a while. I don't know if I've really filmed any underwater scenes on YouTube. I did a little turtle scene a while back. It was pretty, mediocre. I think I learned a lot while I painted it and it was really fun, but I definitely would do it differently next time. So anyway, I think I'm getting a little carried away on the side, but it's just really helping me over here seeing this dark edge. I like that a lot. Okay, let me see. I think maybe right here we can kind of add a little bit more. Something maybe like that. And then these little fishies kind of hang out there. That's not bad. Cool. I'm going to bring this up and out to soften that. All right, I am going to pick up my small sable brush and go into some titanium white. Oops, clean it off actually. A little bit cleaner now. I just want a little bit of titanium white in this kind of bluish mixture, and I'm going to put in some cute little fishies, maybe a little darker, kind of right out here. Just kind of make them little rounded, kind of like little half moons or little, kind of like these leaves. They're like a little rounder in the front and pointed in the back. Let's see, so we're pointing our flat brush down into the corner and just pressing it into, I guess like a little teardrop is kind of what they might look like. And you just kind of put a few small ones here and there and some bigger ones, and then they're all kind of hanging out around deeper and shallower over here. Pick up a little bit of white, a little bit of yellow ochre, and on a few of them we'll kind of touch on a little bit of a highlight if it needs to. Maybe we'll have some more, maybe we'll have them kind of swimming around like this. So let's start down here. A little darker. Few more right out here. We'll do a few, just little ideas. They're coming around this way. Up to this bigger group. Grab just a touch of titanium white again, now that we put in a little bit of their darker sides, and we just kind of put on a little bit of a shine to them. Grab some yellow ochre to that, that was a little too bright. Right, now we have some fish swimming around. We've got some more fish over here. Maybe we'll throw in a few. Something like that. Little bit of highlight again. Keep it a little darker. yellow ochre. That one I kind of bodged them up. But let's grab some of our light blue on the script liner, and we can just give a few of these a few little sparkles. A little bit more liquid white into our bluish mixture. Way out there, let's grab some of our gray and blue on the script liner. We'll just put out a few little bubbles. Clean off the brush. Blue mixture. A little bit more white. And a touch of liquid white with our yellow ochre. All right, I'm just going to soften this up a little bit more here. Some of these lines, we just don't want them to be like super strong, because the light is going to kind of dissipate as it moves through this water. So we can just kind of grab some of these highlights and kind of wiggle them around. It just moves some of that light around onto it, and it works pretty well. Cool. Now, moving on, let's pick out some of these rocks out here that are going to have some highlights on them. And I'm going to use my sable brush and just pick out these tops out here. Just kind of see where they're gonna go. Maybe something, these are kind of highlight on the top, a little liquid or titanium white. This is kind of a thicker paint for now. Let's start with that. We'll use our thick titanium white just to pick out our stones and our rocks out here, keeping in mind where our light source is. Maybe right here, we got another one. Yellow ochre, Indian yellow, every now and then. And maybe we'll get some of these out here. Something like this. Maybe right out here. Let's try Something like that. Let's get some yellow ochre going in there, Indian yellow. More yellow ochre, dark sienna. Yellow ochre. Titanium white. Just kind of keep playing with these colors back and forth, some of the lighter and medium tones, and just seeing what we can get out here as far as some of our rocks, and trying to keep some fun variety. Maybe this is going to be just, we'll have our highlight out on the edge here for sure. But as we move around, it's going to be all kinds of different shapes, and it's going to be darker out here. Maybe you'll have just a touch out here. And we'll just keep going, keep adding little layers. Just have a little bit out here, some grays and some very soft color out here. And then we're going to use our brush to kind of just soften some of these. Try and think about the shape of these stones and rocks out here. Give them a little bit of ideas of different shapes. Maybe right here, it's just a nice cliff. Maybe something like that. Some green. Let's wipe off our brush. I want to go into some of our blue, some titanium white and midnight black, maybe some crimson and gray, just some of our darks. And I want to emphasize some of these dark areas back here. Maybe shape out some of this. Let's go in here and add some dark. All right, we're going to pick up the fan brush now. Let's do whichever one has the dark on it. And we're going to add a little bit more texture to these rocks since they're a little bit closer. We'll go into the yellow ochre and dark sienna. Let's grab a touch of bright red. Get a good bit of that worked into the brush. And on these top areas, let's just go ahead and pick out a few that's going to have kind of some mossy stuff. Let's see what this looks like. Maybe some like algae. I don't know what this would be called. And let's just go ahead and soften those down. Maybe we'll pick out a few of these and just kind of pop on a few more. Just kind of playing around with some of these little sea things that we're gonna have growing around and living on these rocks. I'm gonna use the fan brush to kind of pull out some little bit of rock shapes again underneath some of these little grasses we just put on. Kind of working in little stages and adding little bits and just being sure not to like go right over the top on the exact spot you already did. You just want to add layers and levels of these kind kind of little, maybe like little seagrasses and stuff. Just mossy bits on these rocks. Fun. I'm going to add just a touch of highlight. I'm seeing a spot right here I think would look good. Just kind of soften it away on all the edges there. All right, we're just gonna keep working on building up the scene here. Grab a little bit of thick titanium white and let's grab some of these edges here and just see if we can form a few rocks out here. Just grab them and pull them down. Maybe we'll get a little bit of this blue in here. Back here, we have some blue and white still on the brush, and let's just kind of shape some of these. And we'll just keep picking out and shaping and softening these until we get it to be just the way we want it. Maybe a touch more here on these. Just bring that back. And maybe and a touch of these. Maybe just bring some of these around. Just kind of like working with whatever I see to try and define some areas, but also we don't add too much detail. So we're just trying to add enough to give us an idea. I'm really liking this area over here, so I'm going to kind of leave that one for a little bit and work on a few details over here. back on this. We'll have some moving in with this yellow. Some darks here, just a little bit of darker blue. Want more of a like reflected blue down here, just a little. Nice. Soften some of these. Bit of yellow ochre. Some dark here. Get these back sides, and then we'll have some shadow. Maybe we'll work in a little dark down in here. Black. Midnight black, touch of dark sienna. I think a little bit of light there. Let's do a little out on these ones. Touch of yellow ochre and Indian yellow. And we'll just pop on a few little kind of bright little spots. Just right on some of these tops. Some little grasses. Just shining a little bit. Maybe a few up here. And let's grab a different brush. This one had a little bit of our reds in there. We'll grab some bright red, alizarin crimson, bright red. Just mix those on the brush, and we're gonna pop in some kind of seaweed looking things. Let's grab a touch of titanium white and some dark sienna. And maybe we'll have some long little like leafy, long blowing seaweed things. They exist somewhere, I know it. Some things like this. Maybe we want to keep in mind the way that this water is moving, so we're always kind of working with that. Can bring these out, but then we kind of, you know, have them come back in. Let's do that. Now, a little bit, wipe that off. Liquid white, yellow ochre, more yellow ochre, bright red, maybe a touch of Indian yellow, but let's keep with the yellow ochre and bright red. Something maybe like that, and then we're going to come down on the, wherever we're going to have our highlights, not always on the right side, but we'll just kind of, right, just pop in a little bit there. And we'll just pop a few like this over the top, and maybe this last one is over the top. Just a little bit on a couple of these there. Maybe we need a little like sea urchin-y type stuff, or I don't know, little spiky things. The sea cucumber. Well, he's not really showing up over here. Maybe this was a bad choice. Titanium white. Let's just turn it into something. Whatever. Doesn't matter. I'm just going to pull out a couple more of these lines into some more defined rocks if we can. Titanium white. Just using, with the thick titanium white, I'm going in and kind of dragging out a few of these details on these rocks. And the thick paint just kind of grabs onto the other paint that we already have on so that it all works together. get some here. All right, I'm getting really excited. I want to put in a couple of these bigger things that I wanted to put in the foreground, and then we'll have more time to kind of go in and work on some more of these rocks in here. So first off, let's mix up a nice gray mixture, alizarin crimson and phthalo green. Alizarin crimson, phthalo green, pick up some midnight black. You don't want too much paint on the brush. And we're just going to scope out an idea for a shark. I've never painted a shark. Okay, let's say he looks kind of like this. And it's got kind of like a round, that. Now, let's pick out our darkest section. This is the bottom, and it's going to be wrapping around the dark. And it'll get lighter on the edges. This being in the underside, it's just going to be largely really dark down here. So we'll just kind of fill that in with a majority of this dark. We'll just start with that. Dark. Okay, and now I want to work in his fins. And this kind of comes back, and then we work out fins. This one is kind of there. And we need a fin on the back. This, I think, maybe this is like a tiger shark. Which is what I'm guessing, but I don't really know my sharks very well. Especially painting them from underneath it, like I can't, I don't know them that well. There, we'll fill this in nice and dark here. Very dark. Now, we need this fin here. Which is coming from underneath. There, and he has this one down here. Also, it appears as though there's something on the top up there too. Let's go ahead and make this tail just a touch longer there. Something like that. Okay, wipe off the brush. This is still going to be dark on the bottom because it's silhouetted, but I want to grab a touch of dark sienna and midnight black. Just mix those two on the brush, right on this edge. And we're going to soften that back. Go back to our dark mixture, grab some blue, black, alizarin crimson, phthalo green, mix those all right on the brush, and we're just going to fill the rest of this shark in with the dark. Soften. Just making this whole thing nice and dark because the light is behind him. Keeps it nice and easy for us. Go across and smooth out, kind of round him out. Just want to make this all look nice and smooth. We'll come in and put in just a touch more on highlight for this, but we want to keep it like a nice dark under the shark look. Let's do another one. Yay, so fun. This one, we'll have him maybe right here. Let's see, I don't want him to like interfere with too much. Something like this. And he's gonna have a round face. Just using all the same colors as last time. Give him a body. just kind of turning this way like this. So we face him this way, and he'll have a fin and a fin, and then we'll bring him back this way. And a fin. Okay, now we've got him coming this way. This way. And back this way. Fin. Get a nice bit of dark right here. Pull that back. And a nice good bit of dark. And we're going to make this fin over here. One more. And we'll just pull this back here. Dark. 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 A little more in this fin here. Oop, got a little carried away on that guy. This comes in front. And we've got another fin kind of down here thing. Let's just beefing this guy up a little bit. Goodness, he's starting to look like a whale. Let's get that fin out a little more there. And there, that's better. And we want this dark right here and fade it out. Let's do a little bit of highlight. Just go right into the titanium white. This is just going to kind of bounce off of this is actually more of like a shadow color. We'll try this down here. Soften that light here just a touch. And on this guy, I want to do just a tiny bit on this. Maybe let's just soften this and kind of bring this all together. right here. Let's grab the fins. Nice and dark down here. I get that back one down there. And this one, I think, let's see, I think we're gonna see this fin up here. That fin down there, that one. This is far away, so it's small. Something like this, we need dark. All through this. And now we'll go with our light. Right across. There. And I think we can see this top fin too. Let's do a tiny bit of that. Maybe it'll be just like that. A little bit of liquid white. Actually, no, let's wipe that off. I want to soften this first with the sable brush. Now it's kind of dry. Just soften that. There we go. Yeah, now a little bit of liquid white, a touch of dark sienna and liquid white, and we'll go right across this. There. And we're going to add highlight. Let's just use the script eyeliner. This will be easier. Liquid white and our blues and a little gray. Something like that. Let's try this one up here. And we'll just try and accent some of these shapes. bit here. Just a touch more. A little bit more liquid white. All right, nice little sharkies kind of silhouetted out there. Gonna kind of just clean this up here. Maybe right down below with some nice dark, everything dark we can get on the script liner. And right below this one, we've got a mouth that we can see. There we go. Let's throw on a few fishies. There's gonna be fish around these sharks. They like to clean them off and hang out because it's good eats. So we'll probably put on a few little fishies. They're just hanging on, cleaning off these little sharks. Little bit of titanium white, yellow ochre. thinking I want to fix up some of this out here. We'll just soften up these rocks. Maybe grab a little bit of them and kind of give them some shape. And we'll grab some of our yellows and greens, just a touch of liquid white. And we'll throw on a little bit more of our grass in a few of these areas. Make sure it's good and thin so that it'll stick. We'll just kind of layer in a few more grasses and things, kind of long things growing down here. Maybe with our sable brush, we'll do in another coral looking thing. Let's do bright red, alizarin crimson, and right out here, let's do it right in here. Nice little coral. Let's grab some dark sienna. It's an easy color that we have lots of. It works really well for doing these. We're just kind of pulling away a little bit of paint at first. Nice and dark. We can even come in and add a little bit of crimson to that. Let's go ahead and get some bright red and titanium or liquid white. Just thin down the bright red a bit. And now we'll do in a few of these that are just a little bit lighter. Let's grab a little yellow ochre too. Indian yellow, excuse me. All right, now we got a bit of our background color in and kind of our ideas for shape of this. We'll go ahead and grab our script liner, make sure it's good and clean, and we'll start with our mid. We'll go right into the bright red, right on the script liner, get a good bit of that, and we'll come up here and pick out a few. And we'll add in some more. This one's nice and close for us, so we're gonna see a good bit of details. But we're underwater, so it's still not You don't have to get that serious. Okay, now liquid white, bright red, yellow ochre. I keep saying that. It's Indian yellow. Bright red and Indian yellow. And we're just going to highlight a few areas on these. So we'll just pick out some spots and just kind of squiggle this down and around the tops. And we'll just bring a few of these around. Maybe a couple of these ones will come down. Maybe go into a little bit of a lighter pink. Little lighter. Okay, now I want this to be nice and bright. I'm going to go right into this red and pick up that red. Liquid white and bright red. Really bright pink. Bright, bright, bright pink. And we're just going to kind of get some of this to come in. All right, now let's just pick out a couple more details that we want to include. Maybe there's a little bit more grass, kind of like seaweed just growing out of this. We'll do a few more of these. Right out in front. Let's just leave that. I feel like we have a lot going on and it's really, really exciting and super fun looking and all of that, but I don't want to get like too much, you know? So let's go ahead and just bring a little bit of color onto this seaweed out here. We just kind of wiggle this brush on top of that layer that we just put on, and not everywhere. If we move it around like this, you'll get a little ribbon on it. You just tilt this square brush around and it kind of just builds up it naturally where you want it. It's pretty easy, pretty fun. Okay, now we will use a little bit of liquid white and some of our bright color, and we'll just tap on a few extra pops of color and kind of bring it together sort of here. Maybe Maybe a few more pops over here. All right, let's do just a couple more little long kind of seaweed details here. Maybe. There's some coming down from right here. We just kind of squiggle it off the brush. Just a few, you know, like there's not really much hanging on them yet. Wee, that is looking cool. Let's go grab a little bit of Indian yellow, a little bit of bright red, and we'll just push up some little, maybe they're like little anemones. A little liquid white, a little bright red. Let's get that red. There, and let's do one here, and yeah, I just am like loving this. This is so cool. Awesome. Okay, I think I'm gonna do some final little tidbits with the palette knife. I'm just gonna grab some yellow ochre, titanium white, and we'll just mix that right here. Something like that. Little marbled, a little blues, whatever. Something like that. Just grab a touch of this. And I want to really pick out some of these edges on the rocks. Where they're just going to be a little bit shinier. Just a bit up here. Maybe a touch in here. Just a few more little rocky bits. really make it pop. I love that. Maybe a touch right here. All right, here we go. Now, last little bit. I want to just kind of finish out this here with a little bit of liquid white. We'll go right into some of these bright colors, and we can kind of just tickle the top. And bring those down, kind of like little ribbons. They just hang out up there. Maybe we'll grab just a touch of bright red. Bring a few down. This is it. I'm gonna sign it. I'm just so excited and I don't want to ruin it in any way. So I'm gonna sign it. I'm just gonna clean off my brush and go into the liquid white and bright red. I'm just gonna use kind of a nice bright pink. And I'm gonna sign it. There's a lot of red over here, so I think right over here seems good. Thank you all so much for joining me here today for this episode of Tutorial Tuesday. Hopefully it makes it up onto that channel. It might be in my members only, but fingers crossed, we'll see. I'm really super excited about this. I think it just looks awesome. Came out way better than I could have ever imagined. So I hope you all enjoyed it. Please let me know in the comments what you think. Smile and be happy, friends.